Hello, I'm Judah. Oh my gosh, okay. And that's Scooby Doo, and we are the amateur film critics. I did not know what he was gonna do. This is great, though. I'm very happy about this. Well, if you couldn't guess by Zion's costume, and by that dang bobblehead scares me. If you couldn't guess by Zion's costume and by the thumbnail and title, we are doing the live-action Scooby-Doo movie, which I believe came out in 2002, the first live-action one. I've always been a gigantic Scooby-Doo fan, even more than Zion has, even though he is the one with the costume. But until this past weekend, I never seen any of the live-action Scooby-Doo films. We watched both of them. We're only doing the first one for the podcast.
We're only doing the first one.
I was shocked.
Maybe in a future episode we will do the second one.
Okay.
Maybe in a future episode.
But yeah, so I think we should just get right into it, because boy, do we have a lot to say about this movie. I'm just telling you right now. And I will read our plot summary. Zoinks! 2 years after Clash of Egos forced Mystery Inc. to close its doors, Scooby-Doo and his clever crime-solving cohorts, Fred, Daphne, Shaggy, and Velma, are individually summoned to Spooky Island to investigate a series of paranormal incidents at the ultra-hip Spring Break hotspot. That's the plot summary of the movie. That's a good, solid plot summary of this movie. But holy cow, it doesn't even begin to describe what this movie is like to watch. Okay? Now, before we just start talking about it, I do want to say that I know they're like a dedicated group of people that really love this movie. To that dedicated group of people that love this movie, all right, I'm sorry for the things we're going to say. Because this is I think this is one of those movies where the critics hated it, but there was audience loved it, or maybe the audience even hated it when it came out, but as time went on, people who grew up with it really loved it. I don't know. But we're just going to get right into it, and we're going to talk about it.
I think people like this just based off of nostalgia purposes.
I could see that, yes.
A few jokes I don't understand why they have a fan base because of certain jokes, but...
Yes, yeah.
And a certain scene with a certain character doing something to another certain character, which I don't understand.
There's so many different scenes that could describe Zion, and I would agree with you on all of them. But yeah, so let's just talk about how the movie began. All right, they started out this movie with a little bit of a classic Scooby-Doo mystery, and the whole trap. They don't show much of the mystery, but they show the whole trap sequence. Yeah, Daphne is captured by a ghost, and a whole lot of stuff happened. Some zany antics, and they trap the ghost, and they unmask him.
Yeah.
And honestly...
And then they start insulting each other for some reason.
Yeah.
Then they decide that the entire gang should just separate, even though they only brought one car, but it turns out they also brought several other cars.
Yeah, yeah, we don't understand what's happening there, but I gotta say, the opening thing with the trap, that's nice. I think that creates a nice homage and immediately, like, kind of gives you like the shows you the vibe of this movie and all
Yeah,
that. And it's Scooby Doo. It's very Scooby Doo, and that's nice. All right. There have
right.
been a lot of movies that have really messed with the Scooby Doo formula too much, but this one didn't for that. All right. Oh, but then we
Like which
immediately.
movies? Which movies are you talking
Okay,
about?
I'm talking about Scoob, which I'm boycotting heavily. Like, I'm never watching
You haven't
Scoob.
even watched it. Wait,
I,
how did
I
they
know
mess
enough
with
about
the
it. I don't
formula?
want.
How
They
did
are
they
ruined.
mess with the formula?
They turned it
It's
into a
on HBO
superhero
Max.
movie. Like, it wasn't like I don't even want to
I
get started. Like,
I
how
mean,
dare they ruin my Scooby Doo?
Scooby Doo has crossed over with Batman before, so
Yeah,
it's
but
not messing with
I'm
it
not even the
too.
biggest fan of that whole crossover. I like Batman. Don't get me. I love
How
Batman.
dare you?
Okay,
First
but
off,
and
how
I
dare
love
you?
Batman.
That is
I
a
love
good
Scooby Doo,
crossover.
but I don't like Batman and Scooby
Their
Doo together.
crossover is very good. Their crossover is
Okay,
very good, and you
okay.
should
Maybe we'll
respect
have to make a
them.
special video about that another time.
But
But
don't
them like
get wrong.
immediately like just introducing you to this drama among the gang is kind of strange and it feels abrupt too. Like we're just immediately everyone's mad at each other and for sort of good reason. Uh Daphne Daphne is one of my like worst problems with this whole thing because her
Hmm.
old problem is that she's always okay. I Zion, I love Daphne like as a character in the general Scooby Doo mythos. Um, they try to point her out to like she's mad that she's always the damsel in distress and all this stuff, but in this movie they just it's almost like they make her whiny in a way. Like okay, you know what? Maybe I'll just save this discussion for when we actually talk about all the characters together. Scooby Doo over here is very mad at me. Um, but Zion, let's just talk about the plot. All right, there's a mystery, which is nice. All right. Um, what do you think about the mystery, though? What do you think about the plot of this movie?
Um, uh, Re-roll, roll, run. I'm not gonna talk like that for the. Um, I, I thought the plot was fine. I did want to discuss the deleted scenes, though,
Oh,
and I don't know
okay.
where else.
Well, you can bring those up now
Is,
if you wish.
is he here a good scene? Yeah. So, during the movie, they have several fart joke. I mean, I thought the plot was fine, but they do just cut to certain things without having explained to them in the movie. Like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, in one scene, Daphne is captured by uh, this macho wrestler guy. I don't remember who it is,
Yeah, I know
but
you're. Yeah,
yeah. Um, and then later in the film, she is just like seen as a ghost in the middle of the ghost pot without having explained, oh, how'd she get here, or where, or how
yeah,
did this happen, which I thought, and there is a deleted scene of the film
yeah,
explaining how she got there. So it just, and there are multiple other scenes like that where I thought we could replace some of the, like, if they were running out of time, they could have just replaced some of the fart and pee jokes of the film
mm-hmm.
with these scenes that make more sense to the actual plot. And maybe it
Yeah.
would have been a better movie. Maybe, but
Okay.
time will never know.
Oh, so that's actually a good point. I will say
Mhm.
there's only so many of these deleted scenes that you can add in, though. Like okay, like you can add like there's only so much good it would do to help the plot. Let's
I
in
mean,
my opinion.
yeah, it
Like
wouldn't have made the film an amazing movie,
but it
I
would have
just
made it
think,
better. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a much better movie.
I'm not, even though I did feel like at the beginning whole thing about them breaking up was abrupt. I'm not opposed to that idea of the story. Like I think that's an interesting
But
thing, them coming back
yeah,
together to solve a mystery.
I think if it would have been executed in a different way, that plot line would have been more interesting.
Hmm.
I just thought how abruptly we did this.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. We very abruptly broke them up with, I
Yeah,
feel like, very little
very
um
little context about who the characters
context for
are.
that.
Yeah,
But then as we are going through this, and this is one of the reasons I bring this up, is the biggest rivalry is between Fred and Velma because Fred is kind of a big dummy in this movie. Uh, and Velma's the smart one, yet Fred's getting all the credit as we go through. And and
yeah,
so a lot of the like emotional I forgot what the word is, but a lot of them like making up, most of it's between Fred and Velma and then coming back together. And they had so much charisma in these scenes that I was expecting the storyline to end with those two getting together, Fred and Velma. Like that's what I was expecting. So when
yeah.
all of
That's
the
what
sudden at the
everyone was
very
expecting.
yeah. And so at all of a sudden, at the very end, when Fred and Daphne are all of the sudden like kissing each other with
Yeah, they
no foreshadowing to their relationship, even though past
none whatsoever.
Scooby Doo materials have done this. There was no
Yeah,
foreshadowing to their relationship. It
yeah,
just makes
nothing.
the story feel very strange. And there's not this cohesive character development throughout the storyline. And then
Yeah,
and I do recognize that this is a kids movie. I'm making very critical remarks about a kids movie, and I totally understand that.
yeah,
Um,
but I feel like they were also trying to push this towards like as a family movie rather
yeah,
than
both
as
older
a
and
kid.
younger audiences can
Yeah,
enjoy that.
I feel
I
like
totally agree with you on that
so.
point.
Yeah.
The other big problem with the plot in this is our sort of monster reveal. The whole mystery of how they're brainwashing and like messing with all the people on the island is a pretty good mystery. I'll say. I think it sets up a mysterious tone, and up until the end, I wasn't super sure who the bad guy was. Oh, and so when it's revealed that it's the owner of the island, it's like, oh, that was kind of a somewhat good mystery. Then it's
It was
revealed that
ending,
the owner of the island is a mech suit controlled by Scrappy Doo, who was in one
which
scene.
they set this scene up where uh where the gang thought Scooby Doo was annoying, and so they kicked him to the curb, and so they were kind of foreshadowing this.
Yeah, but the Scrappy, like they did try to foreshadow the Scrappy Doo video, or
Yes.
like the Scrappy Doo reveal as the bad guy. And I understand Scrappy Doo's motivation for it, but like it's just it feels very shoved in there. The Scrappy Doo joke on its own would have been kind of funny, but like having to
Mhm.
bring it back and be like the whole ending is weird. Which while we're talking about Scrappy Doo, I think this is a great time to transition into jokes because there were many jokes in this movie that made me get up and start to walk out of the room. One of which was Scrappy Doo peeing on Daphne. I wish I was making this up. This is an actual scene in the movie.
No, no, no.
And there were many things like this. Um, one of my favorite Zion, because Zion did make me watch the deleted scenes afterward. One of my favorite deleted scenes was a joke where um, Velma starts singing because she's supposedly drunk, and the
Oh
owner
yes, I forgot about that.
and the singing is super strange and super weird. The singing is, but the owner says she knows that there's no alcohol in that beverage. Like, or like it has like that was a good joke in my
That
opinion.
was a
The
good
scene
joke,
was
and they
weird, but
cut
it
it,
was a good
and they
joke,
cut it.
and they
Yeah,
cut
and
it.
they cut it
Yeah,
all out. Like
but like there are so many different jokes. I'm not even just talking like I'm not like I don't I'm not even talking about like the fart and pee jokes that Zion's talking about. I mean, there are just plenty of very weird jokes that didn't have to be in here,
yeah,
and yet they cut scenes like that. So the comedy in this film, in my opinion, it's 50-50. You got some really bad jokes that just make you want to walk out of the room, and then you
yeah.
actually have some solid jokes. Don't you agree?
Solid jokes. Yeah, one of the running gags that they cut out of the movie is is that people forget that Velma is in the actual Mystery
Yes, yeah.
Incorporated, which those are just like they basically cut all those scenes out of the actual
Yeah, they
film.
did. Okay, so next we have characters. As far as so they do a lot of, I would say, what do you call it, modernizing or like messing with the characters, uh, to make them something a little bit
I
newer.
mean,
I'd say for some of them they did. There was definitely
like
to do the
name
storyline.
some, yeah,
Okay,
like
to
name
do
some characters,
to
like
do the storyline of them breaking up, they had to mess with the characters. Daphne, uh, almost becoming self-aware and going on this journey of like becoming a karate master. That's a
well,
good.
the scenes with her actually doing karate, those were cut out of the actual film. Um,
Mm-hmm,
I mean,
that's
I
true.
think they mention she's kind of toughens up. I think they mention that, but the actual scenes of her like becoming a karate master, those were in the deleted scenes, I believe. But
Yeah.
there is scenes of her finding people and
In
the
the
men
movie.
fight. Yeah, in the movie.
Yeah, and
But,
in my opinion, I think that's good care. Like that was a good like character change that they made.
mm,
I
yeah,
other than the actress, like the actress voice messed with me at times. She came off as whiny, like I said,
really?
but like
Okay.
other like I think the most of the time,
Yeah.
I think the character they did good job with. But on the other end of the scale, you have Fred, who they just sort of made him as dumb as a box of rocks.
Well, I mean, there's not really much to do with the Fred character, with only basing it off the cartoon at the time.
Well,
He's a
you see, mate, you haven't watched a little show called Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated,
what?
and
No,
here's what
whoa,
I.
hold. That came out after this
Yes, it
film.
did, but it is still an example of what you can do with the Fred character. Now,
Tell me
did
what they
they
do with
make
that
the Fred
character in the
character a
film.
little ditzy at times in that show? Yes, but they did not make him super, super dumb like they did in this one. All right? Fred was also very mechanically smart, because he loved traps and all that. He was a little bit goofy, and he was kind of like a
You
romantic.
know, way
I think
too
that's a way
be
better
like
like Fred character and a way like developing him than what they did in this one, which is make him sort of stupid and almost the best way I can describe him
I
is
mean,
TikTok star. All right, that's what this character is. Minus TikTok, he's a TikTok star.
well, I don't really remember the Fred character that much, to be honest.
See, he's
I
like
don't remember what. Yeah, he's so. But
he's
that's
so
kind of how he was in the show too. So, I mean, I don't
yeah.
know.
Oh, okay, that was a good point.
Yes,
But trust me, Scooby
there's
Doo Mystery
way more.
Incorporated,
Yeah,
which I love this show, Zion. Yeah,
I haven't even
they
watched.
made a good Fred, and that means it's possible. It's possible to make a good Fred.
I was
Um,
not allowed to watch that one.
I think you'd be allowed to
That
watch
one.
it now though, and it's all on Netflix for your enjoyment.
They
So
want me to watch this mom cartoon show from the 2000s. That
it's really good though, Zion. It really is.
okay.
But moving on, we all next. I want to talk about Velma. All right, Velma. Honestly, is I feel like the one they changed the least. Um,
Okay,
Other
yeah,
than
I see that.
her like this desire for a little recognition, and honestly, I think I think Velma's character was good from the start.
Yeah.
Like being this super genius, kind of cool thing on all
The
that.
thing with Velma in this film is that Velma is also played by Hawkeye's wife
Yes. Oh
from the
my
Marvel
gosh. How
Cinematic
we not
Universe.
there are like these are like some legit like actors here, people playing these characters. Like if you actually look at like some like if you look at the like movies and stuff that these characters have been, they've been in some stuff. Not stuff that Zion and I particularly
Yeah,
know, but they've been in popular things.
popular
And so
things.
like
Yeah.
the fact that this is always gonna be on these people's like record of acting is hilarious to me. This movie.
Shaggy, it's a good Shaggy. I feel like his was most faithful to who the actual character is.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with
Fun
that.
fact about this Shaggy is that after this movie, this actor like went on to play the actual character in a
Yeah.
bunch of things after this. Like he was
Basically
the
in
main Shaggy at one point. Yeah.
and almost every like animated thing after this, other than like just a few one-off things, Scoob specifically did not use him.
Yeah, I
But
think
like,
everything before everything between this film and the Hoop film,
it was
basically
basically him.
every hated thing was
Yeah,
him.
and honestly, he does a fantastic job. This is one thing when I talk about like earlier when I talked about how there's like there's a group of people out there, right, that like really love this film. Shaggy is one of their favorite parts of it for some reason. I
I mean, I don't.
like for people like
I
really
haven't
really
heard
love this
of
guy
this
playing Shaggy.
specific group. Yeah,
They believe he was
I've
like
not
born for
heard
this
of this
part.
specific. I've not heard of this specific group of people.
They're out there,
I'm
Zion.
not
If you search
I'm
for
not
them, they will show themselves. Our last character is there's not much talk about his character per se, but
yeah, this is where we're also going to tie in to the special effects of the film.
yes, because let's talk about how Scooby Doo looked, Zion. In my opinion, Scooby Doo looked rough.
I mean, did Bill Murray's Garfield come out before or after this?
That's a great question.
I think after.
Okay.
It feels like after because of the animation between the two characters. Like, both characters look a little rough, but Scooby Doo's character looks more rough.
It was
And
2 years after it.
okay, so I mean, not that long afterwards, we
Yeah,
got
it
this
wasn't that
character.
long. That's my big
Yeah,
problem. Is Scooby Doo in this is a very strange looking thing. Um,
it's so strange.
I mean, I get what they were going for. They couldn't do the whole like thing where you take a real dog and then just move his mouth because they wanted to do all these visual gags with Scooby Doo. I
yeah,
understand they can't do it, but at the same
but
time,
when you compare it to Bill Murray's Garfield, I mean, the two look drastically. One looks drastically worse than the other. I mean,
mhm,
we're
I
even
would
though
agree
they've
with
just
that.
been out 2 years,
Yeah.
I feel like
And then if
even
we really
though,
want to get
yeah,
serious in our comparisons, the special effects definitely doesn't hold up when you compare him to like Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah, but that is a lot of years later,
Yeah,
though.
that's a
That
lot
is
of years
all the
later,
way.
and I totally understand that. I totally respect that this was a different time. They did not have the special effects to
Different.
do it any better, to do it
Yeah.
much better. But um, when you do think about like how nowadays we have things like Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy, it's always going to make it look slightly worse. It's not going to hold up
Yeah.
that special effects is.
I also think that this might have had a lower budget than those than those Marvel films do, I think.
Oh, of course
I
it
don't,
did. It absolutely did. Yes, side, you're totally right there.
I don't think it's
Uh,
not.
which another special effects thing that didn't look good. Um, I'm actually gonna give like the whole like Souls thing a pass. I thought they were okay. They weren't great,
Yeah, I
but
thought
the
those were
biggest thing I had a problem with was the like gargoyle type creatures. I don't even know what they're called or how to describe
I
them.
forgot what those look like.
That, well, if you look at them, their animation was even worse than Scooby Doo's. Like, uh, they were really rough
I
looking.
mean,
So
I think the roughest thing was when Rapidu turns into that
yes,
green monster thing. That looks like the
that was
roughest.
really really bad. Yes, that's a great point. Yes. So yeah, special effects are definitely where this movie falls short. But I think it's finally time, Zion, that we start talking about our favorite parts of this movie. So Zion, who is your favorite character?
Uh,
Okay. I
this
I
character, I
should have
think.
seen this coming. Good for Daphne. In contrast, my favorite character was Scrappy Doo. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Exhale
Okay.
out. Exhale out.
So, no. Yeah. Actually, honestly, other than Fred, I really liked most of the main game. Other than Fred and Scooby Doo, Scooby Doo could be annoying in this movie, in my opinion. Which might be a little harsh. Maybe it's just the special effects messing with my view of Scooby Doo. It's probably a toss up between Daphne and Shaggy, which has kind of been how I've felt about all of Scooby Doo, like characters since the beginning. Um, if I choose one though, I'll go with Daphne though, just because she knows karate. Actually, no, wait, it's not karate. She says it in the movie. It's taekwondo, isn't it? Which
Yes, it's
I do
like, oh, you
taekwondo.
better, you better.
Yeah, so
My
yeah, I have to choose Daphne.
taekwondo. I used to do taekwondo.
Yeah, you could. Oh, yeah. So yeah, Daphne. Oh, Jesus. I was so worried you just like broke your computer for a second, Zion. Okay, so Daphne's the MVP of this movie, obviously. But now we have to talk about our favorite scene. Zion, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you cannot choose deleted scenes among your favorite scenes.
No.
So,
Oh.
with that in
Oh.
mind, favorite scene, go.
If we were including deleted scenes, if we were, then I would have said the things where the souls have been sucked out of Fred and Velma, and they act completely different than their normal selves. I like those scenes, but
If
if
we were
we are,
including deleted scenes, my favorite scene would be Velma singing on the piano. I don't know why I enjoyed that scene, but we cannot include deleted scenes because they technically
okay,
weren't a part of the
I
movie.
like
So
I liked the scenes where the characters have switched bodies and they are complaining about one another's body.
okay, that's an interesting choice, I must say.
Because that's the only scene I can come up with at the moment. So,
Um, I would
and
say
I will
my
not be
favorite
very
scene.
hot about the Scooby Doo movie.
I I really liked. Um, it's a tough choice. I really liked. Okay, Daphne fighting the Mexican wrestler, right? I liked that leading into her pushing him down, and then that but making opening up the sun, and it goes on disco ball, and the sun like kills all the monsters. I thought like that entire sequence of like because it actually shows like plan and like very deliberate like thought into what's going on in a scene, and I enjoyed that. It showed like foreshadowing and stuff because they were able to set up the like trap and like they had hinted at it earlier in the movie, and I enjoyed that. I did not enjoy the reveal of Scrappy Doo and then him turning into a gigantic monster. All right, Zion. That brings us into our ratings. So, what like honestly, the rating is going to be the toughest part of this video for me. What do you think? What are you thinking? What do you think?
This is like a 1.
I didn't expect you to go that low.
Actually, maybe a. Well, I'm trying to compare it to our last movie.
Yeah, no, that's my thing. Like when you think about what you gave our last movie, which was Citizen Kane, for those of you who don't know.
This is like a 1.5 there. 1.5.
Wow. I am shocked you went this low with it. I was actually sort of. No, I was. As we talked about it, I was actually sort of digging it and I was thinking about it. But now that I look back again on my initial reaction to this entire movie, maybe not. Like, okay.
Also, we forgot to mention the robot character is played by Mr.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, the owner of the entire island is played by Mr. Bean. Like there goes that was budget that they could have put into making Scooby Doo look better. But instead, we pay for Mr. Bean to be the bad guy. Oh, okay, yeah, Zion. I'll give it a 1. I'll give it a 1. No, I'm giving it 2.5. I'm giving it 2.5 because I'm thinking about Citizen Kane. I'm thinking about this movie, and I think I actually liked this movie more than I liked Citizen Kane.
So let's get you've heard it here first. Clip that anytime you want, y'all. Clip that anytime you want. And just release that.
Goes viral. This kid likes Scooby Doo more than Citizen Kane.
Scooby Doo movie.
I enjoyed 2002 live action Scooby Doo more than Citizen Kane. I'm saying it how I feel. So, thank you guys for watching. Please remember to leave us a like and subscribe. We have some other good, interesting movies coming up. I tell you, our next 2 movies will also be very, very random, but they will be movies. So,
yes.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Zion, do you have anything else you think we need to say?
Goodbye, y'all.
All right. Scooby Doo.